The dust hadn't even settled when Private Elena Carter stepped off the transport truck. Her boots touched the dry earth of Ridgepoint Training Range, a place known among soldiers for one thing: tests that pushed you to the edge. She squinted against the harsh sun, and for a moment, she wished she had chosen any other day to volunteer. But that wasn't in her nature. Elena never backed down from challenge. Across the lot, drill instructors shouted for recruits to form lines. She jogged over, falling in with the others. At 27, Elena wasn't the youngest, but she was one of the newest transfers to this unit. Her teammates barely knew her. Rumors spread fast in military circles. She was quiet, disciplined, sharp-eyed, and supposedly too calm for her own good. Some thought she didn't have enough real combat practice. Others believed she had more than she let on. Captain Hayes, a tall man with a stern jaw and sharp voice, stepped forward. "Today's exercise is simple," he announced. "A simulated battlefield run. Each of you will demonstrate target precision, movement, and field awareness." Groans echoed across the formation. Everyone knew this wasn't simple. Hayes continued, "You'll move in teams." But Private Carter, his eyes landed on her. "You'll be running solo. We need to see where you stand." Several trainees whispered, "Why her? Did she ask for special treatment? She looks like she's about to pass out." Elena ignored the chatter. She met Hayes' eyes with quiet confidence. "Yes, sir." Hayes nodded toward the weapons table. "Pick your rifle." She walked forward with the others, expecting to choose a standard M4. But when she reached for one, Instructor Wallace, a gruff, thick-shouldered veteran, blocked her hand with a firm tap. "No, Carter," Wallace said. "You get this one." He reached under the table and handed her something that made her blink twice. It was a rifle. At least, that's what it used to be. The metal was worn, the grip nearly smooth from age, and rust-coated several edges. The barrel hadn't seen proper cleaning in years. That a ripple of laughter came from behind. "You can't be serious. That thing belongs in a museum. Good luck hitting anything with that." Elena ran her thumb over the corroded metal. "Is it safe to fire?" Wallace smirked. "Mostly." Captain Hayes gave him a look. "Wallace." "What?" Wallace shrugged. "She needs to prove she can handle pressure. A good soldier adapts." Elena inhaled deeply. Pressure was something she knew well. She inspected the rifle. Loose parts, stiff charging handle, misaligned sights. Challenging, yes. Impossible, no. She nodded. "I'll manage." Some of the trainees exchanged amused looks, but Sergeant Cole, one of the more experienced leaders, watched her curiously. "You okay with that, Private?" he asked. Elena tightened the strap. "Yes, Sergeant." Hayes clapped his hands. Everyone to the starting ridge. The range stretched across a wide valley. Wooden barricades, scrap metal obstacles, old wrecked vehicles, mock bunkers, and simulation pop-up targets filled the terrain. The run required movement through shifting zones, some open and exposed, some narrow and chaotic. The whistle blew, and teams began their run. Elena waited as ordered. She would start last. When she finally stepped onto the ridge, the wind carried the smell of dried dirt and cordite. She lowered her stance and sprinted downward. The first target popped up 30 yards ahead. She raised the rusty rifle, exhaled, and squeezed the trigger. Click! Nothing. From the observation tower, Wallace laughed loudly. "I knew it wouldn't fire." Hayes frowned. "Quiet, Wallace." Elena didn't flinch. She flipped the rifle, checked the chamber, saw the stuck bolt, tapped the side, pulled the charging handle back, barely, and ejected a jammed round. It took valuable seconds, but she moved quickly. Another target popped up. She fired again. This time, a sharp crack echoed across the valley, and the target snapped backward. The sound wiped the grin off Wallace's face. Hayes's brows lifted. Well, she got it working. Elena didn't slow. She maneuvered around an overturned vehicle, hitting two pop-ups before sliding behind a barrier. The rifle jolted in her hands, unstable, but her grip compensated. She adjusted her aim to match the weapon's quirks. Sergeant Cole watched from the sidelines, impressed. "She's using micro-corrections. That's advanced-level reflex training." Wallace muttered, "Or luck." But luck didn't explain what happened next. As Elena sprinted into the dense obstacle zone, 8 targets activated simultaneously. Most trainees struggled when more than 3 appeared at once. The valley echoed with multiple gunshots, but none from her location, until a sudden burst of rapid, precise shots rang out point one by one. Every target dropped. The observers stared. Cole blinked. She cleared them in seconds. Hayes leaned forward. With that rifle, no one clears that zone that fast. Elena continued without hesitation, breathing steady, movements controlled. The rusty rifle kicked harder than a clean one, but she adapted to its recoil and uneven weight. At the next section, she dove into a crawl trench. The metal bars and narrow walls made it difficult to maneuver. Other trainees struggled, but Elena moved like she'd done it 100 times before. Smooth, focused, efficient. She reached the next zone, the mock urban street, where targets appeared from windows, doorways, and rooftops. Elena steadied the rifle, pressed her cheek against the worn stock, and fired point one shot, point two, point three. Every target dropped with precise timing. The observers murmured in disbelief as she took down a rooftop target at a distance that most wouldn't even attempt with that weapon. Wallace scratched his head. That gun shouldn't even be able to shoot that straight. Cole smirked. Maybe the gun isn't the one doing the shooting. Elena sprinted to the final sector. A simulated smoke device released a cloud, lowering visibility. Most recruits hesitated. Elena didn't. She slowed her pace just enough to analyze movement patterns. Targets moved at random, but she listened, detecting faint mechanical shifts. She fired through the smoke. Metal clanged. Another target fell. Then another. When she emerged from the smoke, her face streaked with dust. She wasn't even breathing hard. Cole whispered, "She's not regular." Hayes crossed his arms. "I want her file on my desk after this." Elena reached the final marker. She stopped the moment her boot hit the line. A long whistle signaled the end of her run. Hayes triggered the all-clear for the range. Carter returned to staging. She walked back calmly, rifle hanging loosely at her side. The other trainees stared like they had just witnessed something impossible. Some looked amazed. Others looked intimidated. Point one trainee, Private Mason, shook his head. "What the hell was that? She's like a ghost with a gun." Private Riley muttered, "She cleared the valley faster than our entire squad." Elena approached the instructors. She unloaded the rifle, locked the bolt, and handed it back to Wallace. "It needs cleaning," she said casually. Wallace stuttered, "Yes, it does." Hayes held a tablet, checking the automated scoring from the system. His eyes widened. He lowered the tablet slowly. "Elena Carter," he said, "you just set the record. And you did it with the worst weapon we've got." Elena shrugged lightly. "It wasn't that bad." Wallace coughed. "It was awful. I gave it to you as a test. It jams if you look at it wrong." Hayes stepped closer. "Where did you learn to shoot like that?" Elena hesitated, not because she wanted to hide anything, but because explaining it always felt strange. "My father taught me," she said. "He was a range instructor. We didn't have perfect weapons growing up. We learned to work with whatever was available." Cole nodded slowly. "That explains some of it, but not all." Hayes looked at her long and hard. "There's experience behind your technique, more than standard training." Elena remained neutral. "I adapt quickly, sir." Hayes didn't push further, but the suspicion remained in his eyes. Not dangerous suspicion, but respect. He turned to the trainees. "Listen up. What you saw today wasn't luck, or magic, or favoritism. It was skill. The kind that comes from focus, discipline, and understanding your equipment, no matter how bad it is." Riley whispered under his breath, "Or superpowers." Hayes shot him a look, and Riley immediately stood straight. Cole walked over to Elena. "You know, Carter, you could teach a class or two. The others could learn from you." Elena shook her head. "I'm still learning myself." "Good answer," Cole said. "But you're welcome to lead if you want." Wallace, who earlier had mocked her, now couldn't stop rambling. "Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I thought the thing wouldn't even fire. You must have hands of steel, or reflexes, or—" Hayes sighed. "Wallace." "Sorry, sir." Elena looked around at the team, many eyes still fixed on her. It felt strange being the center of attention, but she held her composure. Hayes said, "Take 10 minutes. Then we debrief. As the group dispersed, Elena walked to a shaded bench near the perimeter fence. She wiped dust from her hands and took a sip from her canteen. Cole approached again, quieter this time. You handled yourself well, Carter. That rifle, most people would have given up. Elena leaned back slightly. Giving up isn't really my style. I can see that. For a moment, they watched the wind sweep across the valley. Targets still lay collapsed in the dirt. Cole gestured toward them. You clear that field like you'd done it 100 times. Elena replied, Not this field. Cole smiled. Smart answer. When the debriefing began, Hayes pulled up the footage on a projector screen. Everyone watched as Elena's run replayed. Her movements smooth, decisive, efficient. The room was silent except for the sounds of simulated gunfire on the recording. When it ended, Hayes turned to the group. This, he said firmly, is what composure under pressure looks like. Riley raised a hand. Sir, how did she fire that many rounds without the rifle failing? Elena spoke up. By listening to it. Mason frowned. Listening. Every weapon has a sound, she explained. The bolt, the spring tension, the click before a misfire. If you learn those sounds, you can fix problems before they happen. The room was quiet. Cole nodded, impressed. That's advanced level awareness. Hayes crossed his arms. Carter, I want you to run again next week. This time with a standard rifle. Understood, sir. Until then, Hayes softened his tone slightly. Good work. As everyone began packing up, several trainees approached her. Not with mockery this time, but with genuine curiosity. Mason asked, Can you show me how you cleared that jam earlier? Riley added, Could you help us with our sight alignment? Others chimed in, forming a small circle around her. Elena smiled faintly. She wasn't used to being looked up to, but she didn't mind helping. After a while, the sun dipped low, turning the valley gold. Training wrapped up, and the instructors dismissed everyone as Elena walked toward the exit gate. She pulled out her phone, recording a short clip for those who followed military stories and experiences online. She looked at the camera with calm confidence. If you're watching this on the channel Military and True Stories, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There are more real stories coming, some difficult, some inspiring, but all true to the spirit of the people who serve. She ended the recording, pocketed the phone, and stepped into the evening breeze. Behind her, the trainees' voices echoed with excitement, talking about the run, the impossible rifle, and the quiet woman who cleared the entire field in seconds. Elena Carter walked on, steady and composed. Another day, another challenge, and another reminder that sometimes strength isn't in the weapon you're given, but in the hands that hold it.